Alice Mujati, Amrik Bamotro, Lynette Cruz, Rajesh Kalrea, Dr. Mamuna Rana, Joanna Clenson, Patrick McManus, Jenilyn Carter, Brian Darlington, Anwar Gatana, Dr. Craig Wakeham, Ati Banag, Catherine Sweeney, Janice Graham, Patricia Crowhurst, Carol Jamabo, Amanda Scott, Chloe Middleton, Robert Pinedo, Dean McKee, Sonia Kagan, Kirsty Jones, Elvira Bucco, Ken Labatan, Lani Zulaga, Dr. Medat Patel, Angie Cunningham, Mahade Jagur, Fiona Anderson, Anuj Kumar Pavathran, Adekuni Enitan, Jordan Gate, Afua Fofe, Dr. Paul Gabaselli, Lelaine Pizzario, Sue Cairns, Dr. Furkan Siddiqui, Jill Oakes, Philomena Sherian, Dr. Nazir Khan, Cecilia Fashionu. This is LBC.
Thank you, Eddie. Unlimited exercise, cafes, outdoor spaces reopen, park picnics can return. These are some of the measures being considered to ease lockdown when Boris addresses the nation on Sunday. But Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon says the stay-at-home message will be extended for another 3 weeks. She insisted she won't be pressured into changing anything because that would be very, very risky. Do you feel Boris is moving too fast? Call me on 0345 6060 973. You can text to 84850 or tweet using the hashtag Farage and LBC at LBC. Plus, ahead of the 75th anniversary of VE Day tomorrow, we'll speak to one of the first British troops to land on Gold Beach on D-Day.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom, I'm Bill Overton. The Foreign Secretary's warned small changes could pose a big risk to the effectiveness of the coronavirus lockdown. On Sunday, the Prime Minister is due to outline the next stage of the UK's response to the outbreak. Dominic Raab will be leading the government's daily briefing at Downing Street. Follows speculation that there'll be more freedom to exercise and garden centres could reopen.
Whatever's been reported in the newspapers is not a reliable guide to either the evidence that we're getting or the policy decisions that we'll be taking. The Prime Minister on Sunday will set out a roadmap. It's safe to say that any changes in the short term will be modest, small, incremental and very carefully monitored.
The current advice holds for the bank holiday weekend. In Scotland, the First Minister there has extended restrictions for another 3 weeks. Nicola Sturgeon says the infection rate's still too high to lift the rules. A further 539 people have now died with the coronavirus across the UK. It takes the total to 30,615. That figure includes deaths in hospitals, care homes and the community. The government's missed its testing target for a 5th consecutive day, but Dr. Jenny Harris, Deputy Chief Medical Officer for England, says test numbers are starting to increase.
Tests yesterday, or rather up to 9 o'clock this morning, carried out were 86,500. There has been a little bit of a technical hitch in the lab over the weekend, but that's now starting to rise again.
It's been warned effective controls need to protect the privacy of individuals and the virus tracing and into operation. The Ministry of Human Rights Committee says essential legislation should be intention together with personal data protected very basic rights. Trials of the technology have started on the line of rights. It's true that the Minister here can just assure us ministers.
This is to be safe from hacking. I think there's an independent privacy cell with all this COVID contact tracing now who will monitor the system independently, report on any problems, and who will deal with any complaints. You know, these are very straightforward things to be done. The government should do them now.
Dame Vera Lynn's released a statement urging us to remember the bravery and sacrifice displayed during the Second World War ahead of the 75th anniversary of VE Day. The same will be made longer boosting visits to the front line has linked difficult times then and now. She says simple acts, as we see within the NHS, define a nation. This evening, the UK is again uniting to support those working on the front line during the pandemic. At 8 o'clock, please turn up your radio, open your windows and front door and join us here for a nationwide round of applause. In the city, the FTSE 100 has closed up 82 at 59.35. The pound buys $1.23 and €1.14. The weather, dry and clear skies again mostly. Mist and fog patches forecast tonight. Showers for the Midlands, further north and west, a low of 3 degrees. Tomorrow, sunshine and showers, warmest for southern England with a high of 25 Celsius. From Global's newsroom, you're up to date.
This is LBC. From Global, leading Britain's conversation.
The speculation that's in the press, probably leaks that have come from Number 10 about what Boris Johnson will say to the nation on Sunday evening. But first, let's look at that 5 p.m. Downing Street press conference. Dominic Raab in charge tonight, and LBC's Westminster correspondent Ben Kentish was there. Ben, good evening. Can you start with giving us the numbers, the death statistics, testing statistics?
Yesterday it was 100,400, so just over the target. Of course, this is the capacity, that's not the number of tests being carried out. They are still significantly lower. Asked Wally at the press conference tonight, the Deputy Chief Medical Officer Jenny Harries said there had been a minor technical hitch in the lab over the weekend. Now, that minor technical hitch knocked tens of thousands of tests off the official figures, so I would suggest it might be more than a slightly minor hitch.
And new infections still running at about 5,000, but perhaps that's a reflection of more tests being done in relevant places, and in particular care homes. I noticed from the media tonight, I thought a tougher line of questioning of Dominic Raab than perhaps we've seen over the course of the last few weeks, particularly around care homes.
Care homes, Nigel, is the key issue now. We talked about this last night after, you remember I was speaking to some of the SAGE members during yesterday, and the thing they were all saying was care homes, care homes, care homes. Really interesting today to hear that on the record from some of the experts. Firstly, giving evidence to the Science and Technology Committee of MPs today, where those MPs were told really that the lockdown has worked in getting transmission down significantly in the community, but the R level, that's the rate of transmission, has actually increased a bit. It was about 0.6, 0.7, it's now up to 1. And that means, Nigel, of course, if it's 1, then every one person who has the virus gives it to one other. So the number of new cases stays stable. And that's what we're seeing in those charts that we're seeing at the press conference. Why is that, given that the rate of transmission in the community has plummeted? 2 words, care homes.
Care homes,
and there's
yeah,
a third word as well you could add, which is hospitals. But that is where this virus is spreading.
And this is
solved, the number of new cases won't come down.
And this is what we were seeing a bit in the questioning, wasn't it? The question was basically there's an epidemic going on in our care homes, tragically, which there is. And kind of the questioning, is the country paying the price, the whole of the country paying the price for incompetence in our care homes? That seemed to be a line of questioning that was being put to the government today.
I think that's effectively it. There's the question is, are the number of new cases still too high for any significant easing of the lockdown? The answer to that question, certainly the answer the government was giving us today and that experts have been telling us behind the scenes, is yes.
it's going to end, or we'll know how it's going to end, or if it's going to end on Sunday night when Boris Johnson will address the nation. And there are some pretty conflicting points of view out there. I mean, I have to tell you today, I've been travelling today, ready to work, I promise you. But I've been out there today, and I've seen a lot of traffic on the roads, a lot of people out there. I do almost feel that much of lockdown has ended. But Dominic Raab was asked, particularly given tomorrow's a bank holiday, and we know there's a statement coming on Sunday, and the papers are full of speculation about what we may or may not be able to do, does seem to be now a little bit of confusion out there. So Dominic Raab was asked whether the current lockdown was still in place.
Thanks, Laura. Well, first of all, I think whether you're in London, Edinburgh, Cardiff or Belfast, as we enter another long bank holiday weekend, I think the message is very clear. Follow the guidance. To answer your question, there is no change today in the guidance or in the rules, but as I've also explained, the Prime Minister will set out a roadmap on Sunday.
Well, there you are. There's no change to the guidance, but the roadmap's going to be set out on Sunday. But one of the things the government has emphasised is it wants a four nations approach. It wants Scotland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland all to move at the same pace. Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, said earlier today that Scotland's lockdown was going to continue. Let's hear her.
Our assessment of the evidence leads me to the conclusion that the lockdown must be extended at this stage. The legal deadline for the next review of these regulations will be 3 weeks from now, which is the 28th of May. But I want to be very clear again today that we can make changes to the regulations before then if the evidence suggests that it is safe to do so. And again, let me be clear, if the Prime Minister decides that he wants to move at a faster pace for England than I consider is right for Scotland, that is of course his right. I will respect that and I will not criticise him for doing that. But I hope you understand, and indeed I hope you agree, that I must make judgments informed by the evidence that are right and safe for Scotland. I will not be pressured into lifting restrictions prematurely before I am as certain as I can be that we will not be risking a resurgence of infection rates.
So what you've got there is a pretty adamant Nicola Sturgeon that at this stage the lockdown is not going to be eased, and if Boris Johnson is pursuing a four nations policy, that puts him in a very difficult position, because if that's what's being said in Scotland and certainly being said in Wales, what on earth does Boris Johnson do? Now, what we've had sort of leaked out is that we will, from Monday, be allowed to take unlimited exercise. That means that, we haven't just got to go out once a day, we can go out twice if we like, or more. And we're not going to be limited to an hour or so. We can spend pretty much as much time as we like. We'll be allowed to sit on park benches again, as long as we are the 2 metres apart. We'll be able to have picnics as families. We'll be able to sit in the sun. And it's possible that some cafes might reopen, and we might get some limited opening of garden centres. So that we're told is what Boris Johnson will unveil on Sunday. I'm asking you tonight, given that people like Nicola Sturgeon and others think nothing should change at all, do you think Boris is moving too fast on this? 0345 6060 973. I don't at all. I actually think myself that this unlimited exercise, there are cyclists, I see huge numbers of them, who've been ignoring this completely for some time. There are now garden centres, pubs and other places where actually there is some business being done because stuff is chucked in the back of the boot if you order it online or by the phone. The idea that we can sit in the sun, well, thank goodness for that, given that vitamin D is apparently one of the great ways to prevent this virus from taking a hold. I mean, the truth of it is, if the most we get out of this big statement on Sunday night is we might be able, if we're socially distanced, to get a cup of tea in an outside cafe, far from moving too fast, I'm not sure we're going to see any significant change at all. And I do wonder about this strategy, because if the whole nation is supposed to tune in at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, and they do in their tens of millions or whatever it is, and if not very much is offered, people are going to say, what on earth was the point of that? But there's no doubt Nicola day. Not Sarkozy, Macron does it almost every day. Merkel completely in charge of the way Germany is handling this, and gosh, aren't they doing it really rather well? Certainly better than us. And Boris, as you say, Saul, ready to be seen. Let's go to John in Eastbourne. John, it looks like we're going to get some changes, some easing of lockdown on Sunday, but I think they're a bit cosmetic. What do you make of the speed, the pace, what Boris is proposing to do?
Well, I'd like to say, obviously, our government are desperate to try and get us back to some sort of normality, and indeed most of our people, would love to, get out of lockdown. The only problem I've got with it, Nigel, we've still got around 500 people a day dying of this. It's like a jumbo jet going down, fully loaded with people every day. With a total loss of life. So it's a little bit opposite. We've got to realise there's certainly going to be a risk in sort of, taking everyone out and letting them do what they want. So I think, obviously, we are keen to get back to normal, but there's certainly a high risk factor involved in this, isn't there?
Of course there is. Of course there is, John. There's no question about that. And look, this is one of the most difficult decisions any modern government has had to make. But I do think to be told wait till Sunday with a bank holiday in between, we could have done with being told today, couldn't we?
Yeah, I think you're right, Nigel. The problem we've got, of course, obviously, the economy in the country is going to completely collapse if this thing goes on for much longer. So obviously there's a lot of pressure on our government to try and get some normality back. But obviously we've never had a disaster like this take us before, have we? And I think really and truly they're a little bit lost in knowing the right thing to do.
Yeah, they're not having an easy time, John. Thank you. It is now 6:15. Time for the news headlines with Bill Overton.
The Foreign Secretary says any coronavirus lockdown changes will have to be modest and small to avoid serious risk. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's insisting she won't be pressured into easing restrictions prematurely in Scotland. And passengers at 3 UK airports are now being asked to wear face coverings and gloves. The weather mostly dry and clear skies again tonight. Showers for the Midlands further north and west with a low of 3 degrees.
LBC Travel, I'm Dave Goff. There are delays on the A2 westbound. All traffic's being held because of an accident between the Bean interchange and the M25 at Darrenth. In Holborn on Southampton Road southbound, there's a lane blocked for a police investigation at High Holborn. It's slow in Finsbury Park on Seven Sisters Road southbound. It's partly blocked at Elmhurst Park because of an accident. On the Tube, Holborn Station on the Piccadilly and Central Line is closed because of an investigation, so trains aren't stopping. The Circle and Waterloo and City lines remain suspended until further notice. National Rail services, they continue to run to a reduced timetable. The advice is to only travel if your journey is essential.
This is LBC.
When your tenants have a burst pipe, superheroes crashing through the wall isn't going to help anyone. Direct Line Landlord Emergency added to your policy. We're on it to send a rather super plumber in 4 hours. We can guarantee they'll use the doorbell. We can also assemble locksmiths, glaziers, electricians and drainage engineers. Search Direct Line Landlord Emergency. We're on it. Direct Line. Residential properties. Optional add-on up to 1,500 per caller. Extreme weather conditions may extend response time. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited.
LBC.
Blocking your way through the kids' schoolwork, pretending you always knew the capital of Brunei is Bandar Seri Begawan, when really you're frantically scrolling through the internet with your phone under the table, hoping that they just think you're an absolute fountain of knowledge. Whatever you rely on the internet for, rely on TalkTalk to stay connected. TalkTalk for everyone.
Has joined the call. Hi.
Can you hear me? We're getting behind the food charity Fair Share.
And we're sorry, you go.
And we're making it easy for us all to do our bit to be a little hero. Together we've raised enough for over 2 million meals, but we still need more. So please continue to donate in store or by texting meals to 70490 to give a tenner. Because even though we're apart, we can still help each other.
Co-op, it's what we do. Fair Share is a registered charity in England and Wales. 1100051 18 plus text cost £10 plus standard rate message. Landlords, is your property empty? Are you struggling to find tenants? Then speak to Fine Fair, London's rent guarantee company. Fine Fair will guarantee your rent for 1 to 5 years with no commission, no management fees, no voids. Join the thousands of landlords already guaranteeing their rent in London and surrounding areas. Visit finefair.com because in uncertain times, nothing's guaranteed except your rent. Paid on time, every time. Subject to acceptance, T's and C's apply.
At Filippo Berio Olive Oil, our master blenders never stop until they find the perfect flavor worthy of our founder's signature that you will still see on every bottle. Filippo Berio. His signature, our promise. Find us at your supermarket today.
Well-Man and Well-Woman multivitamin gummies are great tasting, vegan, and packed with 22 nutrients too, including vitamin B12 to support normal energy release. Well-Man and Well-Woman, yummy gummies with serious science. From Vitabiotics, the UK's #1 vitamin company. From Boots, pharmacies, and vitabiotics.com.
This is LBC, the Nigel Farage Show. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC using the hashtag Farage on LBC.
If Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland are resisting any easing of lockdown, and Boris does ease lockdown, even if it is more cosmetic than significant, is that moving too quickly? Because that's what Nicola Sturgeon is kind of saying today. Before I get back to that, PPE. Do you remember a few weeks ago Robert Jenrick telling us at one of the Downing Street press conferences it was marvellous? 400,000 medical gowns were going to be flown in by the RAF from Turkey. It took a very long time for them to arrive. We've learned overnight that the 400,000 gowns are worse than useless, could be dangerous, and will probably have to be destroyed. I have no idea what it cost to get an RAF plane to fly this kit into the country, but it hasn't worked. And the oddest thing of all about this is we were told nearly 3 weeks ago that a new PPE Supremo was being put in place, rather like a sort of modern-day Lord Beaverbrook, who came in 1940 to build lots of fighter aeroplanes. Lord Dayton. And it's nearly 3 weeks, and he's not made a single public pronouncement of any kind at all. He's been invited onto LBC, invited to come and talk to me. No public pronouncement of any kind at all. Does he really exist? What on earth is going on? It is, I think, utterly bizarre. So, what to do? Tony says only 332 under 45s have died of coronavirus in the UK. We have overreacted in the lockdown procedure. Well, Tony, this was the argument that was being made by the Daily Mail city editor on this programme, Alex Brummer, last night. Nigel, my husband reckons lockdown should last at least another 3 weeks. It is best to be patient rather than risk it all, says Kathy in Southampton. Kathy, I don't think anybody was proposing that, you know, we start to gather again in vast numbers, that, you know, 500,000 of us congregate tomorrow in the Mall to see the Queen on the balcony, nice though that would be. I think what we're talking about is sensible social distancing, but helping. I mean, some small businesses are doing business again, but allowing people to try and get back to some sense of economic normality. That, I think, is what's being proposed. Tim makes a powerful point. If Scotland continue their lockdown and we ease ours, will the Scottish Government pay their own furlough costs, or will we be bankrolling them? Tim? I don't know. I just don't know. Helen from Islington says the people need to get out and be free. We have all been good for 7 weeks. Enough is enough. Helen, my sense is that is already happening. Now, a regular caller to this programme is Robin in Whitehaven. Robin, good evening. Good to talk to you again. What do you think about the pace that Boris, if the reports are to be believed, what do you think of the pace of that?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, Nigel, I don't think Boris has any idea what he's doing. I really don't think he's got to grasp of it. We're not seeing him on the coronavirus update briefings. Like you said earlier, the other leaders of countries, they're taking up the news conferences and stuff like that.
Yes.
But the lockdown, I think people are starting to not follow it anyway, because there is a lot more traffic and more people about.
A lot more.
But we're no clearer, no better off now than we were at the start of the lockdown. So there's nothing changed. There's still hundreds dying every day. So
Robin, if we hadn't had the lockdown and if we'd allowed Premier League football to continue and all the rest of it, I think the figures would be a lot worse than they are now, don't you?
Well, exactly. There would be. So are we going to go back to break the lockdown and have a second peak? I think if there is restrictions lifted on the lockdown, they have to be policed a lot more stringent than they are. I know the police have got a hard job to do, but I think they're going to have to be stricter on, because, like I said, people are off doing what they want now. The lockdown is name only, isn't it? Because people are doing what they want.
I mean, I'm the other end of I'm the other end of England to you, Robin. As I say, what I am seeing in the southeast is a lot of people pretty much deciding that they've had enough of it. And you're seeing the same up there, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot more traffic on the roads. You see a lot more people walking around now, maybe they live in the same household, but it doesn't seem that way to me. They must have big houses, the groups of people you see, they're not keeping the 2 metres apart, so I think the lockdown is starting to break, but I think it's starting to break because we're getting mixed messages.
Yes, I mean, I have to say, Robin, I do think that the moment for a message on what was sensible and right would have been tonight, not on Sunday. You know, this was the date we were supposed to hear it, and we haven't. Robin, thank you very much indeed. Jim is calling from Dartford. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Nigel. Good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you again. No, so tell me, is Boris going too quickly or too slowly? Because I mean, it is difficult, isn't it? Because on the one hand, Number 10 tell us, this is from a spokesman today from Number 10, we will not do anything that risks the progress the British public has made. And on Prime Minister's questions earlier this week, yesterday, Boris Johnson said we want to get going. It is a bit confusing, isn't it?
It's got to happen one day, Nigel. And I think that take it steady, step by step. But it's going to happen one day. And really, it's down to us. It's really down to all of us.
We've got to be responsible. We've got to be
exactly.
Jim, there will always be some idiots, won't there, that will break any law that you put in place. But do you think we're grown up enough, Jim, to be trusted a bit more?
Well, if we haven't learned by now, we never will. I think he's doing the right. By the way, I think he's doing. I was talking to your colleague. I think he's done the right thing by leaving it till Sunday.
Do you why?
Well, if you imagine tomorrow, what would it be like on the beaches? People getting. Well, we're going to sit there. There's plenty of room there. Then, as it fills up, people will say, "No, 2 minutes. Give us some separation."
Well, Jim, maybe people have looked at the press and seen things on their cell phones today, and they know from Monday we're going to be allowed unlimited exercise, and they think, to hell with it, let's start tomorrow.
Well, but that'll prove the point, won't it? It will prove just how responsible or irresponsible we are. And some people do it anyway. As you said, people on the roads.
Yeah. No, Jim, listen, this is not easy, is it? Asking people to behave abnormally is not easy, but you think he's right to wait for Sunday? I don't, but hey, that's what LBC's for, a difference of opinion. Jim, I thank you for your call. Teresa is calling from Westerham. Good evening.
Hi, Nigel.
Hello there. I'm doing all right. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, but I spoke to someone today, a friend of mine, who lives in an apartment, nice apartment, but no garden, no balcony, and I mean, people like that are just tearing their hair out, Teresa.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it should be eased a bit on parks.
Yeah, and we're told it's going to be. We're told it's going to be.
Yeah, but I don't think it should be eased on schools.
Well, what?
Because you're not going to be able to have enough children in the class. You know, you're going to be so separated. If you've got, say, 30 in a class, you'd have to quarter that, really, for safety.
Well, what if